everybody, welcome back. Today we're looking at some entitled Karens being put in their place.
How's that new microphone sounding? It's good. Kind of miss my pink windscreen, but it's fine.
I'm not one to complain about local business, but when the restaurant hostess turns away a local customer at 8 p.m. because they close at 8 p.m., summertime eatery on the bay, then it will be a long time before they get my money again. Poor business. Sorry, not sorry. Expecting a business to stay open after they say that they're supposed to close is entitled. Do you hear yourself? They close at 8. Did you expect them to roll out a red carpet and serve you just because you are local? Get over yourself. Maybe it's because they are about to close. Listen, I could be wrong, but maybe they didn't serve you because they are closed and they probably have like families and lives and other obligations and they've probably been working all day already. Call me crazy, but I'm pretty sure a Karen eating at their restaurant when it's closed is probably the last thing they want to do. Where do you work so we can all go after you close and then complain? Let me know where we're meeting. Yeah, can we all meet up? Let's see how she likes it. 99% of the time that a customer says, "You've lost my business," that business is thankful, Karen. I've never actually been upset about someone saying unsubscribed or I won't be watching anymore. There will always be other customers. So do you go to a clothing store at closing and expect them to stay open for you to stay an hour or so? Get real. Restaurants are working their butts off right now with limited staffing. I'm betting that answer is yes. Why did you even ask that? Very clearly she expects everything to be open all the time.
Watch her want to go to the restaurant and order a water and a salad.
And maybe some fries. Say you're a Karen without saying you're a Karen. I can't believe they told you they were closed when they were closed. The freaking audacity of people. Honestly. Just like you wanted to get off work to sit with your family and eat, so do they. Closing time is closing time. Period. Closing time. Should have went earlier. If every restaurant stayed open because of people who came at or right after closing time, they'd be paying overtime. Right now in this economy, no one has money for overtime. Also, McDonald's is open 24/7. I'm just wondering why she thought that people would agree with her, you know what I mean? She clearly thinks that she's in the right. I think entitled people are just so blissfully unaware of the fact that they're entitled. The world don't owe you Karen. Let's watch a video of a Karen, yeah? Okay.
She's gonna do exactly like I do it. Robin, you need to be more trusting.
No, I'm not wanting to want to.
Well,
You're supposed to be with the customer.
not in this room. I'm the boss here, Robin.
I'm not paying her, I'm paying you.
Nope, but I pay her, so she does what I say. And
Oh, come on, Sharon.
You'll be fine. You wanna leave?
I will if you don't do my hair.
You have your color on and you wanna talk to me like that? Robin, she's my assistant. She does
hair. I want you to do my hair. I'm not
Robin.
gonna tell you again.
Robin, don't talk to me that way. You can go. No, you're not gonna talk to me.
Good for her.
Robin, you can't talk to people like that and think that people are just gonna do whatever you say.
I came to get my hair.
I know, and I am running a full-blown business. You can leave with half your color on. Are you gonna fucking hit me? Robin, get the f*** out. Robin, get out. And do not cause a scene in my business. You just almost went to hit me, and you know what? It's on camera. No, Robin.
Please.
Robin, that way.
Robin, no. No, Robin.
We're gonna have to reschedule.
No, we're gonna have to reschedule your whole life, Robin. Can you just leave? I'm done with Robin, all right?
Oh my goodness, that was a lot.
Next, Karen. I made a Karen drive 50 miles to get her refund. Before I start, for some background, I work at customer service as a department lead, and I'll say my hardware store practices the rule that says we reserve the right to refuse and limit any returns for any reasons, very often. With that being said, a Karen slithered, ooh, very good descriptive word, slithered into my store with a water heater that was around $800. She hissed at us, "I want to return it." I asked if she had a receipt. She asked, why does she need one? And I said to do the refund. Since it was over $50, we would for sure need a proof of purchase. She groaned and dug around in her purse and called me a moron, etc. She was already rude for no apparent reason. I was kind of already in a pissy mood that day, so I decided to have some fun with her being an asshole by being an asshole back to her. When she presented the receipt, I looked at the receipt to find any possible reason to deny her return and saw it. It was bought at a store 50 plus miles away. With items that expensive, we normally ask the customer to return it to the point of sale. So I told her, you can't return this item at the store. You need to return this item at the point of sale, which is the Riverside store. When she heard this, she hissed at me in anger. Something to the effect of, no, I want to return it here. I'm not driving that far for a refund. She proceeded to yell at me and my associates further, calling us rather offensive names and whatnot, until she asked for a manager, so I got one. But I made sure to call my manager, who has the same mindset of denying returns just like me. When my boss came, he saw what was going on, he was on my side, and told her the same thing that I said, and she cursed us all out and slithered off to hell. As soon as she went off to the parking lot, we began to laugh. I just don't really understand like why people think that in order to get your way at a store or a restaurant, you need to be rude. It doesn't work like that. Catch more flies with honey than you do with vinegar, honey. What I always like to say.
We've waited like 25 minutes for this food.
What do you want me to do?
I don't know, like.
No, but we expect something free. The food for free or something, you know what I mean?
Yeah, give us some free food.
He's laughing.
You must think it's a joke. You want this food for free?
It's cold. I bet it's cold
No,
as
it's not
well.
cold.
It's
not
cold.
Just take your food so I can go, please.
Zoom in on his face. What is he doing?
Eat it. You're paying against me.
Yeah! He ate it! Yeah!
McDonald's. This is why Corona happened.
Right.
Sure, Carrie. I don't care.
Good for you. You know what? For some reason, I have a craving for McDonald's right now. That was hilarious.
Get away from the window. I'm not talking to you anymore.
I don't care.
You don't care?
No.
Get me the manager. But can you hear her talking to me? You better get her. You better do it right now. I'm gonna watch you do it right now because that is. What? Don't talk to me like that.
It's ready.
Yeah.
Yeah, get out my drafting.
Throw it back! Throw it at her! Yeah! Oh, chef's kiss. Chef's kiss. I think we have time for one more. All right, we're gonna do one more. I know you love the Karens getting put in their places, but we have time for one more. All right, here we have a very expensive cake. I can see why. Those flowers look delicious. Are they real? They look real. So this happened like 7 or 8 years ago when I was jobbing at a driving service while I was a student. The driving service was one for people with disabilities that could not drive or walk on their own. Our main office was in the building of a housing/working facility for disabled people. The two companies, our driver service and the housing facility, were loosely connected as they were both financed by the same organization. However, management-wise, we're clearly separated. We were about 15 drivers at this location. We shared our lunch/social room with about 10 caretakers. Since our schedules were horribly organized, the drivers often had to idle time, so the social room was where everybody hung out waiting for work. One day, my boss, call him Tom, brought a cake to work because he became 60. The cake was enormous, like a wedding cake could hide behind it twice. I can only imagine how expensive it must have been. At 9, every driver had eaten some pieces and there was still like 80% left of it, so Tom told the caretakers they could feel free to take some. Then Karen happened. Then a Karen appeared. She was something like the security inspector of the facility, so she had the authority over the caretakers but no dealings with the driving service. Her job was to watch for potential hazards, organize the caretaker schedule, and generally having an eye on everything happening. When she heard there was cake, she was furious. How dare there be cake? She and Tom couldn't stand each other, so she was always trying to ruin his day. In this particular instance, she claimed that the cake was a health hazard as it contained cream, and she could not verify whether the cooling chain was never broken during transport, so she threw it all away. Roughly 400 euros worth of food just thrown away. Needless to say, Tom was less than amused. He was extremely mad. He was usually a very calm and gentle man, and this was the only time that I ever heard him shouting at anyone. Still, there was nothing he could do. Karen could basically declare anything a hazard and take action how she saw fit, and her higher up didn't really care. To make matters worse, she doubled down and demanded that every food that was brought into the social room had to be inspected by her first. Cue malicious compliance. Obviously, all the drivers were mad at Karen for upsetting Tom for throwing away a perfectly fine cake. So the next day, first thing in the morning, 15 drivers went to her office, everyone with his lunch demanding she inspect it. It took her roughly 10 minutes looking at sandwiches and answering questions whether mayonnaise was too hazardous to be brought in. This went on for a whole week. Each day our questions about hazardous foods becoming more dumb and degenerate. On Friday, it took her more than 2 hours to inspect our lunch as we would collectively steal her time. Afternoon, she said she got the message and that sandwiches got a general okay and not to bother her with it anymore. Fine. The following week, we went out of our way to eat anything but sandwiches. Salad cake, pretzels, normal lunch stuff. Every day there was a line in front of her office having their lunch checked, asking stupid questions whether this food was or was not too dangerous to enter their social room. Karen was losing her patience and becoming increasingly aggressive toward us, but still refused to apologize to Tom. Then at the end of week 2 of food checking, Tom brought a bucket for lunch. When he enters Karen's office to have his lunch checked like he did every day and opened the lid, his lunch pot smell hit everyone in the vicinity like a brick to the face. Apparently he had made some unholy mix of garlic, cream, pickles, and herring, which he called fish soup. It looked like what happens if you leave something dead in the sun for too long. Yeah, all brownish and sluggy with some green specks in it, and it reeked twice as bad as it looked. Karen looked as if she would puke any moment, commanding him to remove this monstrosity from her office. Tom asked if she didn't want to check it since he could imagine the cooling chain could have been broken during transport or sometime in the last 2 weeks. The lot of us drivers laughed so hard, I swear some nearly choked from laughter. This was roughly the time that Karen had to admit defeat. Food checking stopped immediately, and the following week, Tom brought another cake. Yay! Hooray! I love this. I love this for you. I love this. I don't love this for Karen, but I love this for everybody else. Alrighty, friends, those were some entitled Karens getting put in their place. That was like oddly satisfying. You know those oddly satisfying videos? Something about putting a Karen right with sticking it where the sun don't shine feels nice and good. All right, so don't forget to go buy toilet paper. No, you gotta do that soon. No, you had some pretty messed up poops lately. Better restock. Cool? All right. Subscribe!